Day 7 of Buddha's Boot Camp begins. And while this is the last day of our boot camp and our practicing together, it is the beginning of your meditation practice. Our chakra focus for this final day is called Sahasrara Chakra, and it is at the crown of your head. It's considered to be the 1,000-petaled lotus, and I like to think of it as kind of a spiritual satellite that is receiving information, wisdom, knowledge, as well as putting that out there into the universe as well. This chakra relates to, very simply put, your spiritual life. You could say the relationship you have with that which is greater than your individual self, perhaps nature, perhaps life force, perhaps the God of your understanding. In today's sit, our effort, as always, is not so much to focus on a particular thought, but rather to cultivate an environment within that allows us to remain open to learning, to evolution as a human, to growth, to clarity, to insights. So I've used the words repeatedly in this week about mastery of your mind. And I feel like we can all agree that our minds are often behaving in ways that are not intentional. This practice asks us in some ways to have faith in the process, to have faith that each time you sit on your rig, on your cushion, your blankets, wherever you may be, each time that you sit and assume the position of meditator, you are working on that mastery of your mind. You are working on what you could call like a loving discipline to keep pointing your attention in an intentional direction, towards an intentional point of focus. If you're a yoga practitioner, you may have heard the word dharana. Dharana is a single point of focus, and dhyana is being able to maintain that single point of focus. This is meditation in yoga, and it's meditation whether you identify as a practitioner of yoga or not. It's extremely challenging. But I believe that meditation is a big part of our spiritual lives. It's a big part of our relationship with that which is greater than our individual selves. If we aim to make changes on the level of that which is greater than our individual selves, we must begin within ourselves. And you're all doing that. You've been doing that this week. And I know that the tendency and habit to judge and label and say that sucked, I was distracted, I didn't really meditate. I know that those tendencies run strong because we've trained them up. And what we are doing here together is retraining, training up new tendencies, and they take time. So let's not forget, however old we are today, that's how many years of training we've had in other ways, other practices. We've developed habits that have dug in. Now you're developing a new one. And the fruits are not like, they don't come in a cornucopia all at once. You start to observe subtle shifts. And I want you to really celebrate any change in your consciousness, your state of mind after a sit, and know that you can apply that extraordinary state of consciousness towards those bigger questions you have, towards self-inquiry, towards the curiosity about the nature of being human, the nature of being alive. When we meditate, it's as if we're tuning that satellite that we receive information, wisdom, knowledge, and we also put it out there into the world. This chakra is actually beyond all elements, beyond all movements of energy. As our physical secondary point of focus today, I will say it's quite subtle, but we can still use it. It's really a focus on wholeness and impermanence. And what we'll do if you find yourself unable for any reason to focus just on your natural breath flowing in, flowing out. Today, we can focus on that circular, unbroken flow of inhale and exhale. So rather than think of them or observe them as two separate parts, you think of them as an unbroken circle, how each inhale leads directly and unavoidably into each exhale, and so does the exhale right into the next inhale. This teaches us about continuity, karma, impact, this inseparability, this union of inhale and exhale. So our secondary point of focus is in many ways just as subtle as our primary point of focus, but it may still help because it's a little different. The focal point is on the inseparability, that circular pattern of inhale and exhale. Let's dive in. Find your seat. And you can continue to experiment with what your best rig, your best setup is going to be for you long term. Don't rush the process. You will find it if you stay diligent, stay committed to finding it. So find what you're going to work with today. And then once again, turn your palms down on your thighs to emphasize rooting and grounding. And as you root down through your seat and your legs, feel the inseparable uprising through the crown of your head, Sahasrara Chakra, that 1,000-petal lotus, like a satellite, both transmitting and receiving the wisdom you are open to, the wisdom you have gained. And let's begin with our secondary point of focus, that circular pattern of breath, and see if you can simply find it here yourself. Feel how the inhale to exhale and exhale to inhale are a seamless cycle. Perhaps you visualize this wheel turning, inhale to exhale to inhale to exhale. Let's continue that for a few more moments. And then now shift your awareness to your natural breath, the sensations of breath from your outer nostrils to your inner nostrils, and inner nostrils back out again, over and over. I remind you here, your habit is for your mind to wander, to seek more complexity, to fill itself up. Again and again, we take refuge in the simplicity of awareness of your breath. It is our point of focus, our intentional resting spot for your awareness. Recognize your ability to generate thoughts and let go of those thoughts and return your attention to somewhere intentional, the sensations of breath. Wherever your mind may be, whatever sensations you may be fixating on, know that you can return with intention back to breath over and over again. Use the awareness of any physical sensations, both pleasant and unpleasant, as a chance to practice non-reactivity. You are aware, you remember impermanence, that it will change, and you come back to breath, flowing in, flowing out. Remember that each time you come back to presence and the sensations of breath, you are your most awake. Place your hands together in front of your heart once again into the gesture called Anjali Mudra, so that we may dedicate the merits of our efforts in self-inquiry and mastery of our minds to all those whose lives we touch, to all beings everywhere, and to that which is greater than our individual selves. As always, I invite you to continue this sit as long as you'd like, or when you feel ready, take this extraordinary state of mind into today's journal prompts and your free writing. See what arises. Namaste.